What up guys, SuperMetal983 here bringing you another album review, and this time we've got some really tasty, very beautiful progressive metalcore for you to check out today. But yeah, I'm going to be reviewing the new album from the band Immortal, which is a self-titled album, Immortal. This is going to be released on October 14th through Seek and Strike Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with Immortal, they're a 5-piece progressive metalcore band hailing from the UK, and I've been a fan of these guys for quite some time now. I've been listening to them, over 10 years at least. I first got introduced to the band back on the EP that they released in 2012, so fucking hell, 10 years ago. I believe this is their debut EP called Dream Sequence, which is this one right here. And yeah, this EP got us into the band, and it's absolutely fantastic. I first heard the song Initiate, which I heard the re-recorded version. I believe it was re-recorded, and then I bought this CD when I saw them in Sunderland back, God, it must have been like 2014, something like that. But yeah, absolutely love this EP. I still listen to it every once in a while, and it still hits that sweet spot and takes us back to when I first discovered them. Excellent release. But since then, they've released quite a few albums in that process. The first one was their debut album, which is called Darkness of an Age, which this one, I've got the deluxe version with a white cover. The original version was black with gold, and it looked pretty sweet. And this version contains quite a few bonus tracks, and it's limited to 50 copies. I've got number 35, but yeah, excellent debut for the band. I was so hyped up to listen to this, and if you haven't heard it before, make sure you do so. This is still quite a gem in my collection and quite a gem in the progressive metalcore genre, so definitely check this one out if you haven't already. But my favourite release of the band would have to be their second album entitled Breathe, which is this one right here. Now this album came out quite a while back, 2018 I believe it was, and yeah, I believe it made me top albums of that year, because this album is absolutely incredible. This showed the epitome of what Immortal was striving to sound like through the age, through Darkness of an Age and Dream Sequence and all of that. This was the sound they were going for, and it sounded fucking incredible. I fell in love with this album, and I still listen to it quite a bit. They are just such a likeable band, and when it comes to progressive stuff, Immortal, I would definitely say one of my favourites. So yeah, make sure you check out this album. It's absolutely incredible. Love it. And then in 2020 and 2021, we got a 3-part EP, which was called Act 1, Act 2 and Act 3, Rebirth, Gold and Water. Now, I was pretty late to the party on listening to this. I only listened to them leading up to this review, because I realised, oh shit, I only listened to part 1. So I listened to all of them, and I absolutely loved all 3 of them. I couldn't choose between them, because absolutely incredible stuff. If you're into really genty but really catchy progressive metalcore, then that is definitely a set of releases that you need to check out. I believe they released it as a CD, digipack of all 3 EPs on, which I'll have to pick up if they've still got it. But I was really eager when they announced this album, or they released the first song, which was, I believe, Flare. I was really hyped up for that single and really enjoyed it. So, and not too long, they announced their third installment, their third album, which was self-titled. So I was like, oh, mint. I'll get in touch with the band and see if I can get a promo copy to review on the channel. And here we are today to review this album, and it's a self-titled album. So yeah, it's 11 songs and runs around 50 minutes in length. And what can I say? Immortal are one of the most consistent bands in the UK scene right now. From Dream Sequence, when I first heard them, every release that they brought out, and I will also mention the song Satellite that they released as a standalone single, was, and I believe is one of their most noted songs, is absolutely incredible. But I had a lot of expectations for this album, because, like I said, I'm a massive fan of the band, and I wanted just them to deliver the absolute consistency that they have done since I first discovered them on Dream Sequence. But I wanted to see what they could do in 2022 with just going forward. Can they push their sound? Can they bring a new lease of life to the bands. Like, I'm not saying they're dull in any way. I'm just saying that I like bands to grow but still be consistent at the same time. And Immortal have definitely done that. I think this is a perfect sequel to the Act EPs, you could say. And also a perfect, most importantly to me, a more consistent follow-up release to Breathe. Like, Breathe was, as I said, an absolutely incredible album. And this album definitely has it. This one has such an incredible sound to it. Like, I think the one thing that stood out straight away when I first got into listening to this album on the first song, Behind the Eyes, was the tones that were used on this album. The tones, the production, the overall sound and atmosphere of the album just straight away clicked. Quality, precision, and just elegance. And that's one thing I do love about Immortal, is they've got this sense of elegance to them in just the delivery, in the song structure, in the delivery of the vocals, the songwriting, just the instrumentation, tone. It's all there to deliver you just the most best quality metal, progressive metal you can fathom, in my opinion. That's why they are one of my favourite bands in the UK scene, because this album definitely highlights that for me, and especially like their grooves in general are very catchy. They're not so much simple riffs by any stretch of the imagination. They are very technical, very progressive, and very intricately writ, but they still have that sort of response nature that makes you want to headbang to it. It's not it's maybe also a bit of a groove aspect. You know, when you listen to a like progressive progressive heavier sort of release, you either get the headbangs, which are in odd time signatures, or you get the pigeon bop. And this one definitely has that like overall sound going for it, because it makes you want to groove along. But it's catching, it's catchy, it feels good to listen to. Like, it's quite an enjoyment factor when you listen to this with the serenading vocals on here. Because I think Merrick's vocals on here are definitely some of his best work to date. Like, his clean vocals are so well, in general, I will say his clean vocals are very unique, and very standout, but his harsh vocals are as well. They're very unique. Like, as soon as you hear it, you know it's Merrick doing those vocals. Like you can stand out the musicianship as well, but when you hear the vocals, you know straight away that's him, because he's just got that unique flavour to his voice. Like, and it just sounds so beautiful, especially when it gets to like his higher ends, like his sombre sort of vocals are very good, but his higher sort of like go-to voice, or the signature Merrick voice, definitely just serenades you in that certain specific type of way. And it kind of reminds us in an essence of modern Tesseract, for example. Like, Dan's vocals are very signature to Tesseract, and you know straight away it's him, but he has that elegance in his voice and just these little moments that he just can hit these certain notes, and you know straight away that's him. Merrick does that same sort of thing, and I think it sounds absolutely fucking incredible. The drum work as well, like I said, with those grooves in there, it definitely gives it that sort of headbang feature, but then also that pigeon bop feel. But overall, the tones and the crispiness of the production, and I know I say crispiness a lot, but the general sense of the production behind this album just sounds absolutely fucking incredible. And you can hear every instrument, every string, every skin of the drums, every cymbal hit. You can feel each part of it just cutting through the mix really fine. It's not, I wouldn't say personally this is a massively heavy record, because I would definitely feel this is more feels as real sort of going your record, but it has got some groove and some like heavier headbangable aspects to it. But I wouldn't say it's an extreme record by any means or stretch of the imagination, but it definitely gives a carry. It makes it stand out from all the heavy stuff that I've been reviewing lately, from Awake in Providence to Spite and Malevolence, for example. Like, that heaviness is, yeah, it's all well and good, but you need something like to chill out to. And this one, since I got the promo, has become that album that I'm like, okay, I need something to ease us back into me, you know, nighttime chill mode, for example. And this is definitely that record. And one thing I will actually say that definitely stood out, as well as the production sounds of it, was the clean guitar tones. Like, it really kind of surprised us in a way, because there was some segments and layerings and stuff where there was like a really heavy, oh sorry, not heavy, but like a chunky gent guitar riff going on. But then behind, or in front of it, or behind it, whichever your preference is this like clean sort of polyphia sort of esque periphery, you know, that sort of clean acoustic stratty like tone going over, doing those like licks and arpeggios and just those little moments in there, and it really gave it a bit more of a different feel to the overall song. And even when the lead aspect comes in for those type of moments, and even just the general lead tones, like throughout this entire album, it's absolutely incredible, because it really gives it a nice feel and a nice flow going in from track to track and segment to segment and section to section in the songs. And I really think it really has a lot of expressiveness in it, because it really creates two contrasts that really collectively work well. And I think there's a lot of bands in that progressive metal, metalcore aspect, or even deathcore sometimes, that that the contrast just isn't quite right and doesn't match up very well, whereas Exist Immortal definitely do that spot on, if you ask me. There is a few guest spots I want to talk about on this album, because there was some that really stood out to me, which I'll get to in a second. But we have Joe from Sick doing a guest spot here, and yeah, I've been a massive fan of Sick for quite a long time. They were one of the first proggy mathcore sort of bands that I got into. I even remember my brother showing us a couple of their CDs, which I've still got, and he gave them, nice of him, and falling in love with them. So to hear his voice again and realising, strangely enough, that on my phone I didn't actually have Sick's music on my phone, so I was like, ooh, I need to sort that out. But yeah, I really enjoyed his voice, and the contrast between him and Merrick just sounded absolutely incredible. And then there's on Signal Fire, the second song, which is features Maria Pringle. Never heard of this guest spot, but really good guest spot once again. And then we've got Dylan from Harbinger, which I absolutely love Dylan's vocals since I first heard him in Next Silver on their last EP, and I was happy to see when he got into Harbinger, and to hear him on this song. He has a very unique voice, and he does harsh vocals on here, and contrasting with Merrick's harshness, because there is a little bit of a bounce back between the two. They are very similar in tone, and it doesn't take away anything from the release or the song in general. It just was nice to hear that sort of contrast between the two, because I could definitely tell them apart, but they have very similar styles, and it really brought a different flavour to that song. So I really like that, and it definitely, the song On The Wire, which is what it features on, I don't know if I said that, is one of my favourite songs on this release. And then the one that definitely surprised me when I read the track list was the last song, Casting Eyes, featuring Luke Griffin of Arcrania, Shush, Human Error, whichever you want to preference them as. I really didn't expect that, because to be honest, I was hoping that it wasn't a like brutal sort of guest spot, like it was Gut Rolls, it was Pig Squeals and all that, because I think Luke does have a unique mid-range tone, and it would actually quite suit Exist Immortal in a way. Imagine him in Immortal. That'd be weird. Anyway, just a little digression there. But yeah, his guest spot on here really surprises, because I really enjoyed his voice on an Exist Immortal song, because it really definitely changed it up and brought a really nice conclusion. Like when I was finished listening to the album, I was like, wow, that was very different at the end. I didn't expect that, but it really fucking worked. And it made it actually one of my favourite songs, and probably my favourite song on the album, because not only does it have Luke Griffin doing his thing, but the clean tones and the polyphia, periphery sort of esque, clean guitar parts on that song in particular definitely stand out. And I personally think that one is the standout track for me. And as I said, they released Flare as their debut single for this album, but they also released Emerge, I believe, was the other song, which is another incredible song. But I would definitely say my favourite standout tracks are Casting Eyes, featuring Luke Griffin, and also I would say Signal Fire, featuring Maria Pringle. Absolutely incredible songs. And this album generally is an absolute pleasure to listen to, and I think it's definitely Exist Immortal's best album so far, and probably his best release so far. I absolutely love this release, and it's definitely, I just cannot wait to see them on their UK tour. I know they're going to be playing Newcastle, so hopefully I get a chance to see them. I'm just trying to keep my money aside because I'm going to this year's Damnation, so anyone going there, I'll see you there. But anyway, yeah, this is an incredible album. Make sure you check it out. There'll be links down below of where you can pre-order the album, and I highly recommend you do so. And check out Exist Immortal's discography. They've got a flawless discography in my eyes, and this album is definitely their best work to date. But yeah, for an overall score though, I'm going to give this a solid 9 out of 10. A fucking incredible album, and I absolutely love it. So make sure you check it out if you're into progressive metal, progressive metalcore, gent, or just metalcore in general. This is an absolute vibe, this album, and you definitely need to check it out. Make sure you check out down below me Super Metal 1993 Riffs for Days playlist on Spotify. Make sure to subscribe, there's more videos coming soon. But yeah, I'll see you until the next video, and remember, stay metal, and I'll see you later.